Venturing through the annals of history, we often stumble upon the strange, the bizarre, and the unorthodox. Weapons are no exception. Their peculiar forms speak volumes of the cultures, warfare strategies, and historical periods that fashioned them. This video dips its pen in the inkwell of history, ready to sketch 10 of the worst and most bizarre bladed weapons that mankind ever produced. Number 1. The Sword of Mercy. The first peculiar weapon on our video hails from medieval England, the Katana or the Sword of Mercy. It's an unusual artifact with an enigmatic origin and purpose that echo through the halls of British history. This weapon is the stuff of legends, literally, said to be linked to the renowned knight Sir Tristan, one of King Arthur's trusted knights of the Round Table. What sets the Sword of Mercy apart from the majority of its lethal counterparts is its distinctively broken tip. Instead of the usual pointed end, the katana sports a squared-off edge, making it virtually useless for thrusting strikes and impairing its lethality. This peculiarity, while perhaps a disadvantage in a standard combat scenario, is believed to be an intentional design choice, symbolizing mercy and clemency. The Sword of Mercy is a ceremonial weapon, and over the centuries it has become an integral part of the British coronation ceremony. It is unsheathed and carried by the monarch's champion during the crowning of a new king or queen. The sword's blunted tip is said to represent the monarch's commitment to justice, signifying their promise to demonstrate mercy in their reign. This symbolic weapon is part of the crown jewels of the United Kingdom, held in the Tower of London. The current katana is believed to date back to the 13th century and is often described as an embodiment of a nation's ideals and history. However, its design renders it a poor weapon for any practical use on the battlefield. In the grand scheme of warfare and weaponry, the Sword of Mercy stands as a peculiar outlier. Its unique design, rooted more in symbolism than in warfare effectiveness, renders it an anomaly among bladed weapons. The tales surrounding the katana offer a fascinating glimpse into the rituals and symbolisms of medieval Britain, revealing that not all weapons are designed with destruction in mind. Some are crafted to convey a powerful message, to uphold traditions, and to remind us of the virtues that can coexist even in symbols of warfare. Number 2. The Lantern Shield. The lantern shield is a perfect exemplar of human inventiveness and eccentricity in weapon design. Originating from the Italian Renaissance, it is a curious concoction of offensive and defensive elements combined with a light source, a weapon quite unlike any other. A typical lantern shield at first glance appears to be a regular buckler, a small, round shield primarily used in melee combat. But upon closer inspection, its unusual features reveal themselves. The shield, traditionally made of iron or steel, is outfitted with a series of complex components. A serrated blade running along the edge, a central spike, a gauntlet for protection, and most distinctively, a place to hold a lantern. The lantern shield's hybrid design is perplexing, to say the least. It attempts to achieve the functions of a sword, shield, and light source simultaneously. In theory, it's an all-in-one tool, providing the wielder with offensive, defensive, and illumination capabilities. The premise seems advantageous, particularly for nighttime or low-light scenarios, where the ability to see an opponent can be just as crucial as a sharp blade. However, in practice, the lantern shield's amalgamated design proves more cumbersome than advantageous. The added weight from the lantern and the gauntlet affects maneuverability and limits the wielder's ability to perform agile combat movements. Additionally, the presence of a lit lantern might illuminate the adversary, but it equally reveals the user's location, making them an easier target. The lantern shield also presents logistical challenges. The lantern requires oil and a wick, and maintaining a lit flame in the midst of combat poses its own set of complications, not to mention the potential danger to the wielder if the lantern were to be hit and rupture, spilling flaming oil on the user. Historically, the lantern shield is believed to have been used primarily in civilian contexts rather than on the battlefield. Its unique blend of elements seems to be more suited for personal defense, perhaps for urban environments or during night watch duties. Yet its cumbersome and potentially dangerous design makes it an impractical choice compared to conventional weapons. The lantern shield is a fascinating spectacle of historical ingenuity, a peculiar fusion of practical necessities and eccentric craftsmanship. It serves as a reminder that innovation in warfare doesn't always lead to effectiveness. Sometimes, it gives birth to curiosities that puzzle us centuries later, leaving us to wonder about the thoughts and motivations of the inventors. Indeed, the lantern shield, with its impractical design and bizarre assemblage of components, rightfully earns its spot among the worst and strangest bladed weapons in history. Number 3. The Macuahuitl. The ancient Aztecs, known for their intricate culture, monumental architecture, and ferocious warriors, left behind relics of a weapon as fearsome as it is bizarre. The Macuahuitl. An intimidating hybrid of a sword and a club, it brandished a row of razor-sharp obsidian blades that could deliver wounds as lethal as those from any steel sword. The Macuahuitl, pronounced Macuahuitel, was a rectangular or round wooden bat, around 3 to 4 feet long, with grooves carved along its sides. These grooves housed shards of obsidian, a volcanic glass renowned for its extreme sharpness. When assembled, the weapon presented an intimidating sight, a wooden club bristling with gleaming razor-edged blades. However, while the Macuahuitl could deliver deadly cuts, it suffered from serious design drawbacks. The obsidian blades, despite their sharpness, were fragile. They could shatter or dislodge upon impact, particularly when hitting hard surfaces such as armor or shields. This meant the weapon could rapidly lose its lethality in the course of a battle, a significant weakness in warfare. Additionally, the process of replacing the shattered blades in the middle of a fight was virtually impossible, rendering the Macuahuitl more or less a wooden club once its obsidian teeth were lost. Moreover, the Macuahuitl was primarily a slashing weapon, with its design making thrusting attacks ineffective. This limited the types of combat moves a warrior could execute with it, restricting their combat flexibility. Another puzzling aspect of the Macuahuitl lies in its cultural context. The Aztecs believed in the importance of capturing enemies for sacrifices rather than killing them on the battlefield. However, the Macuahuitl, with its lethal cutting power, seems contrary to this belief. It's a weapon designed to maim and kill, not to subdue and capture. Yet, despite its impracticalities and apparent contradiction to the Aztec warfare ethos, the Macuahuitl held a significant place in their society. It was a symbol of bravery and skill, a weapon of the elite eagle and jaguar warriors, and a ceremonial tool used in religious rituals. It was also an embodiment of the Aztecs' ingenuity in using available materials to construct a weapon capable of challenging those of metal-wielding invaders. The Macuahuitl, with its mix of deadly effectiveness, practical shortcomings, and cultural significance, is a fascinating chapter in the annals of historical weaponry. It's a testament to a civilization that thrived in the heart of Central America, whose understanding of warfare, sacrifice, and honor gave birth to one of history's most bizarre bladed weapons. Number 4. The Urumi. The Urumi, a historical weapon hailing from the southern regions of India, challenges our conventional understanding of what a bladed weapon should be. It sports a series of flexible, whip-like blades, marking a stark contrast from the rigid, sturdy forms associated with traditional swords. As mesmerizing as it is terrifying, the Urumi offers a unique spectacle on the battlefield, yet its practicality as a weapon is questionable. The Urumi, also known as the whip sword, comprises a handle attached to one or more flexible, razor-thin steel blades, each ranging from 3 to 5 meters in length. When in motion, these blades whip and whirl around, creating a frightening sphere of slicing danger for any opponents within range. In the hands of a skilled practitioner, the Urumi's fluid, unpredictable movements make it a formidable weapon. Its reach far exceeds that of a regular sword, and it can strike from unexpected angles, making it difficult for an enemy to defend against. The Urumi can also be used defensively, with the blades whipped in a circular motion to create a protective barrier around the user. However, these advantages are offset by a significant list of drawbacks. The Urumi requires substantial skill and training to wield without injuring oneself. Its unpredictable, flexible blades can easily recoil and strike the user, making it a potentially dangerous weapon to its wielder. Furthermore, the weapon's effectiveness diminishes significantly in close-quarters combat, where its extended reach and wide arcs are more a hindrance than a benefit. Additionally, the urumi is largely ineffective against armor. Its thin, flexible blades lack the force needed to penetrate metal or even sturdy leather armors, a crucial disadvantage on the battlefield. It's also difficult to control, making targeted strikes challenging. The urumi is more a weapon of area denial, designed to keep enemies at bay, rather than to dispatch them swiftly. Due to these limitations, the urumi was seldom used as a primary weapon in warfare. It found more application in martial arts and self-defense. In Kalaripayattu, an ancient South Indian martial art, the urumi is still used in training, showcasing the intricate dance between danger and control. The urumi is an anomaly among bladed weapons. Its unconventional design, high skill requirement, and limited practicality in warfare make it one of the strangest weapons in history. It stands as a testament to the diverse ways in which cultures around the world have approached the concept of a blade, daring to step outside the norms and bring to life a weapon that blurs the line between a sword and a whip. Number 5. The Pata Gauntlet Sword. Born from the fusion of offense and defense, the Pata Gauntlet Sword is a distinctive weapon that originated from the Indian subcontinent. Its design combines a sword and a shield into a single device, offering a conceptually advantageous solution for combat scenarios. Yet, upon deeper examination, the pata's practicality and effectiveness as a weapon are dubious at best. The pata is a long, straight blade affixed to an elaborate gauntlet. It is essentially a sword that one wears rather than wields, with the hand and forearm protected by the gauntlet. The blade itself, often about a meter long, can deliver powerful slashing and thrusting attacks, while the metal gauntlet provides robust defense for the user's hand and forearm. On paper, the pata seems to offer the best of both worlds, the attacking potential of a sword and the defensive security of a shield. However, the reality of its use reveals some inherent issues. The fixed connection between the blade and gauntlet significantly hampers the weapon's maneuverability. Unlike a traditionally gripped sword, which allows for wrist movements, the pata's design restricts the user to movements of the elbow and shoulder, limiting the variety and agility of attacks. Moreover, despite the gauntlet's protective function, it can be a double-edged sword. The rigid attachment of the gauntlet to the blade means that any forceful impact on the blade could directly affect the user's arm, possibly resulting in injury. The lack of a grip also means that if a strike were blocked or deflected, regaining control and balance could be challenging. Historically, the pata is often associated with the Maratha warriors of India, and it has held both practical and symbolic roles. It was not only a weapon of war but also a status symbol, with the intricacy of the gauntlet's decoration indicating the owner's wealth and rank. Yet, its practical use in warfare was limited due to the weapon's drawbacks. Despite its limitations, the pata is a fascinating example of a weapon design that sought to innovate by integrating offensive and defensive elements. Its combination of sword and gauntlet into a single piece is a testament to the creativity and ingenuity of weapon makers of the past. The Pata Gauntlet Sword, with its daring design and questionable practicality, rightfully claims its place among the strangest and least effective bladed weapons in history. It serves as a reminder that innovation in weaponry, while often leading to more effective tools of warfare, can sometimes result in peculiar, impractical designs that captivate us with their uniqueness. Number 6. The Parrying Dagger. Among the more curious bladed weapons in history is the parrying dagger, a defensive tool primarily used in Renaissance Europe. While it may not be bizarre in the conventional sense, its role in combat and specific design elements set it apart from standard bladed weaponry, making it an intriguing artifact of historical warfare. The parrying dagger, also known as a main gauche or left hand, was designed to be used in the wielder's offhand while they held a primary weapon, such as a rapier, in their dominant hand. As its name suggests, the parrying dagger's primary function was to deflect or block an opponent's attacks rather than to deliver offensive strikes. What makes the parrying dagger stand out is its specialized design. Many models feature a broad, flat blade with multiple grooves and a uniquely shaped guard. The guard often included side rings and a solid centerpiece, designed to catch or trap an enemy's blade. This allowed the wielder to control the enemy's weapon momentarily, opening up opportunities for a counterattack. Despite its defensive advantages, the parrying dagger is considered among the worst and strangest bladed weapons for several reasons. First, it required considerable skill to use effectively. The ability to simultaneously wield a primary weapon and a parrying dagger necessitated advanced training and exceptional coordination, restricting its use to skilled duelists or well-trained soldiers. Second, its defensive role was often better fulfilled by other items such as shields or bucklers. These offered greater protective surface area and did not require the same level of skill to use effectively. While the parrying dagger could provide a swift, agile defense, a misstep could leave the wielder exposed to potentially lethal attacks. Third, its design was largely ineffective against heavy, high-momentum attacks. While suitable for blocking rapiers or other light blades, the parrying dagger was less effective against heavier weapons such as broadswords or axes. The parrying dagger symbolizes a period of transition in European combat, where the emphasis shifted from armored group warfare to unarmored one-on-one dueling. Its design reflected the intricate dance of offense and defense characteristic of Renaissance fencing. Yet, its practical shortcomings and the specialized skill set required to wield it effectively render it a peculiar curiosity rather than a practical weapon. Thus, the parrying dagger, while an intriguing piece of historical weaponry, finds its place among the worst and strangest bladed weapons. Its story serves as a reminder that weapons are not merely tools of warfare, they are products of their time, reflecting the evolving strategies, technologies, and cultural practices of the societies that forged them. Number 7. The hook sword. The hook sword, a remarkable weapon from Chinese martial arts, perfectly encapsulates the notion of strangeness in bladed weaponry. With a design that seems more ornamental than functional, it stands as a captivating, yet largely impractical tool for combat. At a glance, the hook sword, also known as hu tu gu, is instantly recognizable for its unusual shape. The sword features a crescent-shaped hook at the tip, a pointed pommel, and a prong or guard extending from the handle. Some models even have a linking chain that can connect two hook swords together, creating a longer-range weapon. In theory, each component of the hook sword serves a function. The hook allows for snagging and tripping opponents, pulling away their shields, or even linking two swords for extended reach. The pointed pommel serves as a stabbing tool, and the prong can catch incoming attacks. The linkage of two swords could enable sweeping area attacks to keep multiple adversaries at bay. Yet the practicality of the hook sword is severely compromised by its own complexity. The need to utilize each of its unique features necessitates an extensive degree of training. Without mastering the varied techniques, the wielder might find the weapon more a liability than an advantage. The risk of self-injury, especially from the hook, is a persistent concern. Moreover, the hook sword's effectiveness in a real combat scenario is questionable. The hook's utility against an armored opponent or against heavy, long-reach weapons like a spear would be limited. The prospect of linking two swords in the heat of battle seems more fanciful than feasible, given the coordination it would require. Historically, the hook sword is believed to date back to the Song dynasty, but evidence of its extensive use in warfare is scant. It has found a more enduring role in traditional martial arts performances and modern wushu exhibitions, where its flashy, exotic aesthetics make for a captivating spectacle. Indeed, the hook sword seems better suited to the performance stage than the battlefield. Its intricate design, requiring high skill and offering dubious practical advantages, makes it one of the more peculiar bladed weapons in history. Yet it's precisely this peculiarity that makes the hook sword a fascinating piece of cultural and martial heritage. Thus, while the hook sword might rank among the worst bladed weapons from a practical standpoint, it certainly ranks among the most interesting from a historical and cultural perspective. It's a testament to the rich tapestry of martial arts and weaponry design that has unfolded throughout human history. Number 8. The Kapinga Throwing Knife. In the annals of bladed weaponry, few are as peculiar and intricately designed as the Kapinga, a multi-bladed throwing knife employed by the warriors of the Kanuri, a historical kingdom centered around Lake Chad in Africa. The kapinga's unusual form and the specialized throwing technique required to wield it effectively render it a compelling, yet largely impractical weapon. The kapinga is characterized by a heavy curved iron blade, typically with 2 or 3 protruding blades that vary in size and shape. It resembles a multi-pronged hand axe more than a conventional knife, and its overall design seems more akin to an artist's abstract creation than a practical tool of war. In skilled hands, the kapinga was reportedly thrown in a spinning motion, creating a chaotic, unpredictable trajectory that could be lethal to opponents. The multiple blades would ensure that regardless of how the knife landed, it would injure the target. This made the kapinga a potentially devastating weapon on the battlefield, capable of striking enemies behind shields or other forms of cover. However, the kapinga's advantages are significantly overshadowed by its practical limitations. Firstly, mastering the throwing technique required to use the kapinga effectively would take considerable time and training, making it a weapon reserved for a limited number of specially trained warriors. The kapinga throwing knife, with its complex design and the specialized skill required to wield it, sits comfortably among the strangest and least effective bladed weapons of history. Its existence serves as a reminder of the rich diversity of human ingenuity in creating tools for war, a testament to the cultural and historical context from which it emerged. Number 9. The scissor. Among the many odd and intriguing weapons used throughout history, few are as strikingly peculiar as the Roman scissor. This specialized gladiatorial weapon, with its name derived from the Latin word for cut, is an oddity in the realm of bladed weaponry, serving more as a spectacle for the audiences of the Colosseum rather than a practical tool for warfare. The scissor is essentially a large, heavy brawling glove, often made from iron or steel, worn over the gladiator's forearm. The weapon features a semicircular blade attached to a long, tubular arm guard. In essence, it resembles an extended, monstrous pair of shears, ready to slash and stab opponents within reach. In the bloody contests of the Roman Colosseum, the scissor offered a spectacularly brutal display. It was typically used by the scissor-type gladiator, who would have been trained specifically in the weapon's use. He would employ the scissor to block and parry blows, deliver slicing attacks, or make quick stabbing jabs at his opponents. However, when examined from a practical standpoint, the scissor poses numerous issues. First, the heavy iron glove would have been burdensome to wear, potentially slowing the gladiator's movements and draining his stamina quickly. Moreover, the weapon's weight would likely be distributed unevenly, further affecting the wielder's agility and speed. In reality, the scissor was likely more about spectacle than practicality. It provided the audience of the Roman arena with a thrilling display of combat, a testament to the gladiator's skill and courage. As a practical weapon, however, it left much to be desired. Number 10. The khopesh. In the array of historical bladed weapons, one of the more idiosyncratic examples is the khopesh, a sickle sword that originated in ancient Egypt. With a design that combines elements of a sword and a hook, the khopesh occupies a unique place in the history of weapons, marked by its distinctive shape and dual functionality. The khopesh, with its unique crescent-shaped blade, is instantly recognizable. Its design features a long handle, a straight shaft, and a curved end resembling a sickle or hook. Historically, the khopesh was made of bronze and measured approximately 50 to 60 centimeters in length. Its strange shape was not merely for show. The khopesh had a specific utility in combat scenarios. The curved blade of the khopesh was primarily a slashing weapon, capable of inflicting deep wounds on enemies. In addition, the inward curve at the end of the sword could be used to hook an enemy's shield or weapon, pulling it aside and leaving the opponent vulnerable. In theory, the khopesh combined offense and defense in a single weapon, offering a versatile solution for ancient combat. Yet for all its theoretical advantages, the khopesh was not without its practical shortcomings. The curved end of the blade limited its stabbing capability, reducing its offensive options. Furthermore, while the hook could be used for defensive maneuvers, it was no match for a full-sized shield in terms of protection. While the khopesh may not have been the most practical weapon, it serves as a fascinating artifact of ancient Egypt, a testament to the rich and diverse history of warfare and weapon design in human civilization. Its iconic shape and historical significance make it an enduring symbol of ancient Egypt, underscoring the important role that weapons, no matter how strange or impractical, play in our cultural and historical understanding.